Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Welcome to the Grow Tent, everybody. You have found the best growing channel on YouTube, man. The place where we simplify the approach for you so everyone can learn how to grow. We make it so simple, even I can understand. So I'm going to listen and learn right now.
Woo! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Grow Tent. We got a great episode for you today. I hope everybody's doing good. I've missed y'all. We've been super busy over here getting ready for our drop, and I've been getting everything in order, and it's just been super busy. So I hope everybody's been having a good week. I think, you guys, if you want to hang out, we're going to do a live stream. Oh, hi, Bella. We're going to do a live stream on this Tuesday. So this video will drop. It'll be Sunday. So then 2 days after you see this video, we're going to do a live stream Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 p.m. Central, which is 3 p.m. Pacific. So if you want to come hang out with us live, we're going to do a live stream. Set a reminder on your phone. We're going to do a live stream. That's my daughter. You can hear her cackling in the other room. She is on the phone. They just started summer break. She's on the phone with like 4 of her friends. They are hysterically laughing. So if you hear that again, that's what that is. They're not, no one's murdering a cat next door. That's Princess GT. Dad's no longer the cool, fun one to hang out with. It's all about her friends on summer break. All right, so I had an interesting email, and it was about training. So today's video is going to be about training. I realize we're a minute 30 into this, and I just brought up what we're going to be talking about today. So the people that hate the long intros, I apologize. It's going to be a longer intro one, I guess. But the video was about training. It was a newer person. Surprise, surprise. It was a newer person. Let me fix that. It was a newer person, and they were talking about how long into your journey, or what training method should you start with, and which ones should you graduate to as you become a better grower. I thought that was like a super interesting topic, and I think that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, remember, please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you want to share it, go ahead and share it. I understand if you don't, though, because a lot of people don't like sharing these kind of videos. Also, guys, you want to hang out with me more than just this, you can actually do just like this, where we're talking face-to-face just like this every single month. Check out my website over at WTTGT. There's really, really cool benefits on that website. One, you get to see all the merch that I make. I design all this stuff, and then I drop it. All right, so back to the interesting question. No silly cuts or anything today. So back to the interesting question. They said, at what time frames, I'm a brand new person, which training methods are the easiest and the safest for me to use whenever I'm starting out? I'm super nervous about training, and I don't want, for you new people out there, for you veterans, you can vouch for this, you used to feel the exact same way. I bet if you put it in the comments for people, they would, the new people, because this is a big thing for new people, is they're very nervous about training. If you guys, you veterans, if you put in the comment section like, hey, we went through it too, there's nothing to training, just give everybody some positive reinforcement. If you're new, go ahead and look in the comments. I guarantee you there's a bunch of really good growers down there. They're going to tell you the exact same thing. Training is probably number one. I'd say transplanting, which is, you can kind of throw that into the category of training. Transplanting and training are probably the biggest, like, nerve-wracking experiences whenever you're growing. Because, watering, everybody can water a plant. Even if you're doing it wrong, you can still pour water in a bucket. You can still, it's super easy to turn the dials up and down on the lights. You might not do it right, but it's easy to mix the nutrients in the bucket. Training, on the other hand, this is one of those things where you have to become proficient at it by doing it. And the only thing you can practice on is your own plants, which, some of this stuff can get really expensive, and you might not have a bunch. So it's a very intimidating topic to start off doing. So there's a couple of different methodologies whenever you're going to be training. You have 2 different types. You have low stress training on one side, and then you have high stress training on the other side. Low stress training is generally where most new people are going to start out. They're going to do like a low stress training method where you're going to pull the top of the plant down and then just tie it to the side of the bucket. There's no breaking of the stalk. There is no chopping any parts off. Generally, this is where you guys are all going to start at with low stress training. As you guys all know, if you've watched the channel before, I am not a huge proponent or fan of low stress training. It's just not one of the things that I understand it, why new people do it, because I told you, murdering cats. I understand why new people do it because it's the least of the intimidating, because you're not technically doing anything to the plant. You're literally just bending it over a little bit. But the same mechanism is happening no matter how you're doing it. So whether you're tying it down, the part of the plant that was tall, you were just bringing it down and tying it down here so it can't stand up anymore. So the same thing happens whenever you top. The plant redistributes the growth hormone from what used to be the top of the plant, which is not anymore. So it'll redistribute the growth hormone back down the branch, causing the lower branches to grow up, trying to become the new top of the plant. This is the safest and easiest method for you new growers to do it. Now, you're going to grow out of this method extremely fast, especially if you watch this channel. We don't do a whole lot of low stress training. We really, I say we, because I think of you guys as all part of the team. But we graduate very quickly into high stress training here, because generally we are watering correctly, our plant's growing nice and healthy. So the plants recover from the high stress training extremely quickly. So on the ease scale, I would say low stress training is number one for you guys, for you new people. It's the easiest. You're not interrupting, or breaking or doing anything that would, actually really slow the plant down or can hurt it. But on the same token, it doesn't work as fast as some of the other methods of high stress training, especially when you start combining them. But it is the easiest. So number one for you guys, new guys, that requires the least amount of skill for you to do it and can actually have some fantastic results. Low stress training. That's your number one. Now, when we get into number two, it's going to be a form of supercropping that is not really supercropping. So you can buy these little clips. They come in a couple different sizes. They come in, they can make 90-degree ones. They make ones that just have slight angle to them, and they're like bud trainer clips is what they're called. And it's a form of supercropping, but not really. This is like riding a bike with training wheels on it instead of just hopping right on a bike that you've never been on and getting pushed down a hill. Where with supercropping, please stop. That was getting too much. No problem. With these clips, you can literally just put the bottom of the clip on a branch, bend the branch to the direction you want, and then the clip will hold it in place. This is what this would be kind of your next step. I would actually prefer, this over the low stress training. I'm just not a big fan of tying the plants down. I'm very biased against it. But these little clips, they work really, really well, and you can widen the plant out really well, and you don't have to break the branches, because whenever you're supercropping, these clips do the exact same thing as the supercropping would do. You're taking the branch, you're breaking it down stem, you're widening out the top of the plant, which slows it down, and then you're letting the bottom and the middle of the plant now grow up because you've broken the branches and set them on the outside. Well, with these clips, you don't have to break the branches. And they actually work really, really well, and they are extremely, extremely cheap. That's another nice part about them. And plus, if you got a buddy with a 3D printer, I'm pretty sure he can just make some for you, and then you can just pay your buddy. But you can find the plans for them online, or you can just get on Amazon. When I say they're cheap, I mean they are dog water cheap. So number two would be the training clips. LST clips. They got a bunch of different names, but that would be your number two. Very low skill level entry, really, really good results. After that, we're going to get into now some of the more high stress training methods. And your high stress training methods are going to be topping, Fming, and supercropping. I kind of leave out monocropping here. It's just our mainlining. I kind of leave out mainlining here. It's just not any, like, whether you're good or not. It's one of the slowest methods for training. And I think with a combination of topping and supercropping, you don't even really need to ever mess with mainlining. It's more decorative than high results driven, I would say. I might get some hate for that one, but that's just personal opinion. Let's see what else we got going. Okay, so out of the three for our high stress training, remember we had topping, we had Fming, which is actually, topping and Fming are really close to each other as far as what you're doing, and then you have supercropping. So we're going to talk about all three, but in order: topping, easiest, then Fming, because you need a little bit more skill. Topping, super easy. Fming, you have to be a little bit more accurate with what you're doing. And then the last one, the most difficult training method is 100% is supercropping. But don't let that intimidate you away from doing it, because it's really, really good. You can really speed up how fast you get through veg with it. Okay, so topping. Topping is, you're just going to take the apical of the plant, which is the 2 fan leaves, the new bud sites that are growing down here at the corners, and then the top of the plant, and you're just going to check. All right, sorry, interrupting break. I had to talk to Princess GT there. So you have the topping, the Fming, and the supercropping. Topping being the easiest. You're literally just going to go to the top of the plant. You're going to chop off the apical of it, which is the new growth out of the center, and the 2 little bud sites that are coming. You just chop the whole apical of the top of the plant off, redistributes the growth hormone down, and they grow up and out. Extremely simple. Fming is, there's 2 different methodologies or lines of thought with Fming. Whenever you are, where are my post-it notes? Bad, Princess GT. This is way easier when I have it drawn out, but what are you going to do? GT is not prepared. So whenever, there's 2 different lines of thoughts when we were talking about Fming. And the only reason that you're basically doing the exact same thing as you're doing with topping, where you can literally just take your finger and thumb and pinch it off and throw it away. You just take off the whole top of the branch. With Fming, you have to be a little bit more accurate. So there's 2 different lines of thought. So Fming stands for F word, I missed, which means you didn't get all of it. So at the top of if you look at the top of the plant, you have the new growth that's coming out of the center. And then if you look just below that, there'll be 2 fan leaves that come out of the main stalk like this. And then you have the dead center main stalk of the branch. Well, if you look in between that main stalk and where those fan leaves come out, right here in the corner on both sides, you'll see new growth coming out. Those are going to turn into new branches. So you basically have 3 pieces that you're looking at here. You have the 2 little new growth shoots that are coming out the side, and then you have the main where the new growth is starting to come out like this. So the 2 thoughts on Fming are, whenever you're trying to do the fuck I missed, you're either going to just take the center of it out. So this is why I say you have to be more accurate with topping. You just clip the whole top, throw it away. With Fming, you're actually going to either just take the entire center section out, so we're being more accurate. We're going to leave these 2, the new growth coming out, and we're going to just literally take our hands, pinch, and you can just wiggle it back and forth and like snap it off, and you'll leave just those 2 there. Hence the fuck I missed. If you were topping, you would take the whole thing, the whole apical. You would take all of it, but since we're only taking the middle, you say, fuck, I missed the other 2. Or there's another line of thought, which I'm not as big of a fan of this one. This middle one that's coming out of here like this with the new shoots, you only take half of it. So instead of just clipping the center out, you go to the center piece, and instead of going all the way down here and breaking, you go halfway down and then just chop it in half. So you leave the 2 sides, and you leave what used to be the middle coming up like this, and you just kind of chop the whole top half of it off. That, like, fuck, I missed all of it once again. So I prefer just taking the entire center out and popping it off and leaving these 2 whenever I'm doing film, because it redistributes. I like how much better it redistributes the growth hormone. If you just do half of it, this top is still getting the majority of the growth hormone. The sides, they get a little bit more, but it's going to regrow the top and it's going to push out the sides. I know that sounds like, oh, well, I'll have 3 instead of 2. I've just found that you'll get better for the top. Yes, it'll work great. But for lower branch, like the actual growing of of the branches to catch at the top it can be. I've actually found that it's not as fast as whenever you are just doing just straight either topping or just take the whole center section, that style of a film. So just my thoughts on those two. But as far as skill level, remember we've got low stress training where you just use like the wire ties or string and pull the plant down. You've got the clips that are like a form of like super cropping with training wheels. And then we have topping, then we have Fming, both methodologies. And then last but not least, this is the, without question, the hardest of all the skills to master is supercropping. When you're dealing with supercropping, you are physically going to be, let's say this is our plant right here. We're breaking out our watermelon colored rulers again. So here's our plant with supercropping. What we're trying to do is bring the top of the plant, and there'd be more branches down here. Whenever we super crop, remember we can only top the top of the plant. So if we're going to top the top of the plant, we could only do this top and this top. Well, instead, if we combine super cropping, we come down here and you're actually going to physically crush this branch with your fingers. Just you're going to snap it, not snap it this way. Just crush it on the inside till it cracks. And after it cracks, this will become more flexible. So you're going to crack it, and then you'll rub your fingers together like this, just kind of rolling it back and forth just to break the outside. You're not trying to break up the outside of the branch. You're just kind of rolling it around. And what happens is this becomes pliable. So once you've crushed it and then rolled it, this becomes pliable, and you can take it and bend the branch to the angle you want, and it will actually hold right there. It'll make a knuckle right here. So the purpose of that is after we've crushed it and then bent these out, because before, if we were going to top, we could only top this one and this one because you only top the top of the plant. You don't top branches that are lower because you want those to catch up to the top so they become the top. One of the ways we can help this is we super crop right here and bring these branches down. Now instead of the top of the plant being up here, you've now lowered the top of the plant to down here. Well, you're going to lower it to the same level as these. There would be more branches, of course, coming up down here. So we do this and we lower these like this, and these tops will turn up like this after you do this, like in a day or two days. And so now we have these tops at this level, and these lower branch tops are at this level. So now instead of just topping 1, 2, we get to top these two still, and all the lower branches that are now at this level. So instead of doing 2 tops into 4, we do these 2 tops into 4, and these other 2 branches that are down here into 4. So instead of going 2 to 4, and then we now go 4 to 8, it speeds up how fast you can start doubling your branches. That's one of the reasons that super cropping is so handy. And while it is scary, and it is the hardest of all of them to master, you will be able to do this. I don't care if you grow an extra plant just so you can practice it on. Mastering all of these different techniques will allow you to start combining them together. And it's one of the reasons, like a lot of new people, they end up stuck in veg for quite a long time. One, they're watering wrong, their lights are wrong. So the plants have an extremely hard time dealing with this, so they grow slow. The quicker you master your training techniques, the faster the plant will get bigger and wider. The faster the plant gets bigger and wider, the faster you get to go to flower. So these are extremely important to master. Get yourself some watermelon rulers and practice. No, but these are extremely important to master. And as far as like levels of difficulty, that's the list. It's low stress training, the clips, topping, Fming, and then super cropping. But don't be intimidated by them. We as people, we get way better by doing things than we do ignoring them or not practicing them. All right. I hope everybody has a good week. I hope that kind of explains like the levels of like difficulty with the different training methods. They are all extremely important. Don't neglect any of them. The faster you get better at the training methods, the better of a grower you'll be, and all this will become way easier when you're plant shaping. Okay. I hope everybody has a good rest of the week. Remember to come hang out with us live on Tuesday. We're going to have a blast. I'll see you guys later. GT.